right, welcome to the Patriot Hour for Thursday, February 27th, 2020. I am Michael, your host. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for giving us some of your time. We know you're busy in your day-to-day, limited time. In the past, you've got home from work and your busy day, if it ain't running the kids around, picking them up somewhere, getting dinner going, homework, baths, all of that great stuff. Maybe you have the background, the TV on, and you're watching CNN and getting spoon-fed, or MSDNC, or even Fox News anymore. Got to do a little bit of your own research, and that's what we're here to help at the Patriot Hour, guide you along. We do a lot of the heavy end, diving through, sifting through lots of different angles, and what is most logical, and we'll bring to you little tidbits and crumbs to help follow you along in your journey. So subscribe to everyone, listen to everybody you can, read all the books you can, articles, and watch a little bit of the mainstream to see the narrative, and you'll start to see it unfold right before your eyes. It's a big guise, it's a stage, it's a lie. Just as much as maybe the coronavirus, all right, you had the media there pushing literally their angle that they want to happen. For some reason, these people can't just report on things being said by experts or vice versa. But then again, you had Trump kind of pushing back with the main narrative and just saying, hey, it's more like a flu, and no, sir, no, this is supposed to be a pandemic, and we want to talk about it. It's just, you could see this unfold if you're paying attention. So again, never take our word, never take anyone's word. Do your own research, connect your own dots, come to your own conclusions based off a lot of facts. All right, that's what you got to do. All right, we're going to jump into a little article here on some CIA mind control, MKUltra. It is real, folks. There's tons of declassified docs on it at this point in the game. Now, a lot of times people denied it the whole time, and then you get declass from 1981, and you're talking about it in the 90s, like, well, this is old. But until it got declassed, it was a conspiracy. It wasn't real. It didn't work. It didn't exist. We know that to be a lie. All right, so let's jump into this article over here at DC Dirty Laundry. I'll leave the link down below for after the video. You can go back, check this out, and expand out a little further if you're new into this whole topic. Let me make this just a hair bigger on the screen for you and myself. All right, so MKUltra Survivors Sue Government. Again, Dean Garrison, February 24th of 2020. Panel finds CIA broke law. CIA infiltrated 17 area groups, gave out LSD. Now, if I remember correctly, I remember a Unsolved Mysteries episode where a man was involved with the CIA back in the late 60s or 70s or something, and he went on a retreat with a bunch of other CIA members out to a cabin in the woods, and they were administered LSD without knowing. A couple of the higher-up agents that orchestrated the whole getaway with a bunch of these people dosed several of the people in the cabin, and a couple of the guys didn't take it so well, and they were really disturbed and upset. And the family members talked about when this one particular guy came home, he wasn't right, he was having issues, and next thing you know, he jumps out of a window, supposedly. So I don't know if this has that there. Oh, this is a little different. CIA infiltrated a group. So Project MKUltra, or MKUltra, also called the CIA Mind Control Program, is the code name given to a program of experiments on human subjects that were designed or undertaken by the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, some of which were illegal. Experiments on humans were intended to identify and develop drugs and procedures to be used in interrogations in order to weaken the individual and force confessions through mind control. The project was organized through the Office of Scientific Intelligence of the CIA and coordinated with the United States Army Biological Warfare Laboratories. Code name for drugs-related experiments were Project Bluebird and Project Artichoke. The operation was officially sanctioned in 1953, reduced in scope in 64, and further curtailed in 67. It was officially halted in 73. Now, if they were having success up until 73 after doing it for 20 years. Typically, that's the jump point for the military, the government, when they jump in 10, 15 years, and then the projects appear to go shut down. Really, they just go to the black budget side of everything, and 20 years into anything, they've researched it well. They wouldn't have been doing it for 20 if they didn't get results up until 20. So it probably just went rogue at that point. So halted in 73 officially. The program engaged in many illegal activities, including the use of U.S. and Canadian citizens as its unwitting test subjects, which led to controversy regarding its legitimacy. MKUltra used numerous methods to manipulate its subjects' mental states and brain functions. Techniques included the covert administration of high doses of psychoactive drugs, especially LSD and other chemicals, electroshocks, hypnosis, sensory deprivation, isolation, verbal and sexual abuse, as well as other forms of torture. The scope of the project MKUltra was broad, and the research undertaken at more than 80 institutions, including colleges and universities, hospital, prisons, pharmaceutical companies, and I even would push to the military. The CIA operated using front organizations, although sometimes top officials of these institutions were aware of the CIA's involvement. So according to the CT news article, survivors and the families of MKUltra brainwashing program run by Dr. Edwin Cameron at McGill University in Montreal in the 50s and 60s have banded together to bring the horrors of this program more fully into the public eye. They're planning on a class action lawsuit in provincial and federal government, an initiative which lawyer Alan Stein feels optimistic about. I believe we can calm moral damages as a result of these experiments when Dr. Cameron used these people as guinea pigs. There is a reason to take Alan Stein seriously in this matter. He has successfully represented numerous survivors who were once patients in the infamous Allen Memorial Institute at McGill University. In 1992, the Justice Minister Kim Campbell compensated 77 former patients of the program, but denied others a payout because they were deemed not damaged enough. Stein has handled several lawsuits and out-of-court settlements since. Public apology is primary. What is different with this class action suit is that the primary objective of the victims is public apology and an admission of complicity on the part of the government. In previously successful individual lawsuits, money was paid out based out on extent of damage, such as a degree of which the victim had reached a childlike state, and not on the fundamental principle that the citizen human rights had been aggressively violated. MKUltra wasn't just for Americans. Here's a video from the CBC. All right, here's one out of the Canadian. So here's hoping these survivors get some justice. How many lives were totally ruined by MKUltra? It's too bad they aren't suing our government as well. All right, so how many whitey burglars did the CIA create? We may never know. Now, if you even look into, like, I think Saran, the one that other JFK, was it Robert JFK, that was killed years later after JFK, talking about reopening the investigation, and he was shot by this Saran, who still like sits in prison, shocked in the eyes look. He talks about the lady in the polka dotted dress, which can be seen in the footage, cutting in front of him. And minutes before that, seconds before he's normal looking, this polka dotted dress walks by, and then boom, he snaps and pulls the gun and does the shooting. So it's always been, to this day, that's all he mumbles, and polka dotted dress. And they're saying that was his trigger. That was his brainwashed thing. Once this happens, you're going to do these acts. Get you in the right place at the right time, have you do it just right out in the forefront. So plausible deniability is, kind of hard. You did it. Somebody brainwashed me. Maybe he didn't even know enough of that because they brainwashed you to not know that. So unbelievable. Let's take a look at this little video I got queued up. It's just a 3 or 4 minute, and then I'll come back and we'll end this video and keep it short and sweet.
In the wake of World War II, the U.S. government is engaged in a large number of secret medical experiments. designed to help win the Cold War. Developing techniques for mind control to create a so-called Manchurian candidate. What is the extent of these brainwashing experiments? How did the CIA become involved in such far-reaching and disturbing research? In May 1953, scientists at Porton Down are researching one of the most lethal nerve agents known to man, sarin. The experiments are conducted on military volunteers, but the young servicemen have no idea what they are letting themselves in for.
On the board there was a separate notice, typed, which said in so many words, volunteers wanted to help find a cure for the common cold.
By volunteering, Ken Earl becomes an unsuspecting guinea pig in the war against the Soviets. On May 4th at Porton Down, he and 5 other Air Force men are led into a small room by 2 technicians.
We were told by the 2 men to roll up the left sleeve. These 2 men then took 2 pieces of material and they taped them to our forearm. They then gave us each a respirator and that we were not, under any circumstances, to take off the respirator. And the door was sealed behind us. It was very, very poky, a small building. And I found out since it was a gas chamber, which puts the fear of death into you, of course. And this technician, with a vial and a pipette, went round each of us, and he dripped onto this piece of material 20 drops in 2 rows.
The clear liquid is sarin nerve agent. It is quickly absorbed into the arm through the skin. The effects are immediate.
I became absolutely claustrophobic. I didn't know what sheer terror there is in being trapped and not being able to breathe properly. You feel you can't breathe. I was sweating profusely. And I now, even today, have nightmares about it. After half an hour, we were released, gasping and spluttering and sweating into the open air. Beautiful sunny May morning. Absolute bliss. What a wonderful thing to be alive.
The corresponding paperwork clearly states the purpose of the experiment is to determine the lethal dose of sarin. After the Korean War, disturbing new intelligence reaches Washington. Hundreds of American troops are still being held captive, subjected to brainwashing experiments, and then killed. Mind control research back home intensifies. The new goal is to cause an individual to become subservient to an imposed control, to the point where he will perform acts against his will and then have no memory of the act. The search for a real-life Manchurian candidate begins. To produce such an assassin, the CIA faces 2 main challenges: how to induce amnesia and how to program in new behavior. In 1957, Dr. Ewan Cameron, an eminent psychiatrist in Montreal, believes he has the answers. Cameron applies his techniques under the guise of normal therapy.
There's a 3-part technique which started with an effort to wipe out past patterns of behavior. And this was accomplished through the use of particularly intensive, repeated, high-level electroshocks until no more convulsions could be elicited from a patient.
Cameron then plays tape-recorded messages through helmets that are locked to his patients' heads. This psychic driving forces them to listen to repetitive statements for weeks on end to program in new behavior.
Now, the final phase was to try to wipe out all recollection of what had happened, and that was accomplished by putting people to sleep for 30, 40 days, accompanied by different kinds of cocktails of drugs. Now, that's not any kind of therapy. That's a brainwashing experiment.
There you have it. So, Again, that's just a collection of some leaked people that survived, come forward to talk about it a little bit, tell you what they know, a collection of D-class, and again, probably a little bit of propaganda mixed in there, but that's pretty much the gist of it, folks. And do your own research, check into that a little bit. It'll give you a bigger, grand idea of some of the other things that have taken place and even what still goes on today. All right, I'm going to keep this one. We're already at the 16-minute mark, so I'll shut this one down. I will be back with another video, maybe a live show with Woodman. We got canceled out today for the Legion event just due to bad weather, delays on schools, and actually further out cancelizations, so we couldn't have everyone be down at the Legion. So we're going to shoot for that tomorrow to do a little test. Again, nothing major, just a test. For those of you that can be with us, we appreciate it, and we'll see you back here a little bit later today on the next Patriot Hour. God bless and Godspeed to each and every one of you.